Hello and welcome to Brit Vision, your fresh face in the media. Now, we are here on Wednesday Night Live and we are here to discuss some of the week's biggest topics with the biggest opinions. All coming up in just a second. Now, first of all, we have a few things to say about Brit Vision. We are going to have more and more things going on this channel. We're going to have better lives and we're going to obviously bring you the best debates. Now, what I want to just say is that you can share your opinion with us. Your opinion with us is important, it is valuable, and of course, we love to hear everybody's views. We're going to be talking about the first asylum seeker that has actually landed in Rwanda. I'm going to be talking about the crisis in the rental markets, and we're also going to be talking about broken Britain and how Britain is broken, whether it comes to politics, whether it comes to the housing or migration, which we're going to talk about anyway. But everything else that doesn't seem to work in Britain, we're going to be talking about it, and we're going to ensure that we're obviously demonstrating as many opinions as possible. Now, obviously, we want to hear from you. So please get in touch. In a second, I will put on the screen how you can get in touch. But of course, it's extremely important that you get in touch with us, and we will read your opinions out. We'll discuss your opinions too. So here is how you can get in touch with us. So there is a YouTube live stream. There's a little chat at the side of the live stream where I can see everything that you are saying that you want to have discussed. Any comment, I can read it from there. There is Twitter and X at Oddie Politics. If you want to listen, get in touch with us through X, and we also have Instagram, which is Brit_Vision_media. So if you would like to get in touch with us, please do. We will really appreciate it, and we'll also talk about your opinions quite a lot. So we are now 4 minutes in. The time check is 9:25. Good evening to you all. I hope everybody is okay. We've had some pretty sad news over the last couple of days, especially when it comes to knife crime, when it comes to knife crime. So I think it's obviously a very scary situation, and I think I'm going to come to that later in the show. I think we'll have a little bit of a chat about something else first before we go into the whole knife crime debate. but obviously it's very important for the families involved, for the young people involved, that they are treated with the dignity and respect that obviously they're entitled to. The young child that's died today, I forget what his name is now. It's Daniel something. The poor lad, it was described by his teachers as being gentle, being an excellent person, and obviously it's very sad when these things happen. So make sure, if you are going to comment on this topic, that you are commenting in a respectful, polite way, with all due respect, and obviously we'll have to be very careful on what we say as well if it's an ongoing legal case, which it is. So I've just realised my graphics are on Saturday Night Live. It's not. It's Wednesday night. It's the Wednesday night show, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it today. We're fairly new to this, so bear with us. So this is what I want to start talk about. The first asylum seeker lands in Rwanda. So Rishi Sunak got his very controversial Safety of Rwanda bill through, which was part of his whole Rwanda plan, which was like conservative flagship policy. Yeah, let's get this through. Let's show that we're doing something about migration. Well, the small boats crisis, even though legal migration is much higher and much more controllable, we seem to go for the small boats, which are negligible in number. But then again, it's also about standing up for the rules and regulations of society. We obviously have laws that prevent people coming to this country illegally, and therefore it's important that we, obviously ensure that we are, abiding by the rules of law, and everyone else abides by our law. Because if one group of people start to stray away from the law and start to not have the law enforced in an equal way to everybody else, then everybody else will start to turn away from the rule of law, which is extremely damaging. I'm just going to go for a short break. I just need to check on some information. I'll be back in a moment. So hello, welcome back to Brick Vision. So I did just take a short break there. I'm terribly sorry about that, but I wanted to check some information with you. So this failed asylum seeker who was officially arrived in Rwanda was paid £3,000 by the government to go to Rwanda. £3,000 free. So essentially, we pay for them to go to Rwanda, and I'll tell you exactly why and what's going to happen. They want somebody to sort of advertise Rwanda as a safe place. So this is what I think is happening. They want to advertise Rwanda as a safe place. Now they're doing that by sending someone over there in order to go, oh look, it's lovely and safe. I am safe here. Now what's going to happen is someone's going to pick up on this, and you know someone's going to pick up on this. I know someone's going to pick up on this, whereby they just say, oh well, you know, we'll treat this person really well. We'll put them somewhere really safe. Will that be the same for all? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But overall, I do think Rwanda is a safe place, and I think the lefty liberal politicians do have to stop talking Rwanda down, because it does sound like a very colonial sort of attitude, really. In one hand, oh, you know, Africa's just as lovely and civilized as everywhere else, but as soon as we want to send asylum seekers there, it's absolutely, you know, rubbish. We can't send them there. It's not safe. So they do talk down about it when it comes to that. So I think it's one of those double standard things. Now, obviously, how many people are going to be paid in the end to go to Rwanda? We don't know. We've sent a load of money over to Rwanda to start with. Has it benefited us? I don't think it has benefited us. It hasn't benefited me. I haven't seen the numbers of people that was promised to be decreased. As Rishi said, we're going to stop the boats. We're going to, you know, we're going to this wholehearted, like, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop that. Where is it? Where is it? It's not there. And this is the issue. I think the issue that we're all having is very, very important, and we've got to say to Rishi, you've got to hold you accountable. We have to hold you accountable as a politician, and that's exactly what we've got to do. So, you know, come on, Rishi, where's your promises? Are you going to deliver on them? And when's the first thing you can deliver on them? I don't think he's serious enough about the whole issue to go, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Now, he hinted at leaving at the ECHR. I don't think he's going to. I think it would upset too many people in his party. It would definitely upset a lot of people in the Labour Party. And I think, you know, Reform have said they're going to leave the ECHR. Have they nicked a Reform policy? I think they might have done. You know, it's trying to get people not to vote for Reform and vote Conservative, and I understand his position, but it's just something to me doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like he wants to do it. We've seen so many, you know, years of poor interaction or poor action. Sorry, not interaction. We've seen so many years of it that actually, you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? You know, when are we going to solve these issues? It doesn't seem to me that this is going to be a thing that's going to help us in any way, and that's exactly what we need in terms of this. So I like the fact that he's actually gone and done something, but what I don't like is the fact that it could end up amounting to nothing. And we've sent a load of money to Rwanda. Have we got anything back from it? You know, it's questionable. It's so questionable. So I do think that Rishi is definitely, you know, wanting it, doing it for votes. I don't think he's doing it because he believes in it. I think he's doing it because the public want it, and he wants votes. He wants to stay and he wants his job. So that's my thought on the first asylum seeker landing in Rwanda. Even though they were paid to do so, they're there. Coming up next, I have an exclusive. Now, this is a local council that has outlined a penalty policy on holidays during term time, which essentially means that parents are going to be penalised for wanting to take their child on holiday. Now, I don't believe in denying kids and parents the chance of a good, affordable holiday, and I'm gonna explain what this local council have said. So that is coming up next on BritVision. I'm going to just go for another short break, and then I will be back soon. So hopefully you won't go. But I will see you in a couple of minutes. Hello and welcome back to BritVision. I will start that again because there was a little bit of a technical failure there, but we will be talking about the local council holiday situation. So yeah, so basically, there's been a local council that has just put out a sort of punishment system for parents, really, for taking their child out of school during term time. Um, so yeah, it's very sort of very punitive. I think this approach, whereby it's restricting parents from um, like really having an affordable holiday is um, very much quite. It's almost like a criminal record, really. The best way I can put it, I'm having to think about this now, but it's almost like a criminal record. So yeah, it's very much quite odd, and I'm going to read it out to you now. But first of all, we have had a comment from a lovely viewer. So let me just see. It was on Twitter or X. X it is now, but it was from D, who said, "I completely agree with you on the issue of the migrant crisis. This £3,000 to send the failed asylum seeker to Rwanda is just um, political bolstering, and it's very much a portrait of what Rishi Sunak wants to show us. And I think that is a level of right. It is a show of what Rishi wants us to think is going to happen. Is it going to happen? I doubt it. So thank you to our viewer D who sent that in. We're pleased to have your view on here, and we will always read out people's views. We may even have a show just based on you getting your views in. But we're moving on now to a local council. A local council now. So this is Wakefield Council, and they have put out a penalty notice fines for children attenders are changing. So this is the idea that with the introduction of new national framework for penalty notices, the following changes will come into force on the 19th of August 2024. So this is a new framework according to the council. Now they've set this out, and this is why I'm not saying that this was created by the council, but I'm guessing many councils, if it's a national framework, is all around the country. So it's not just this one council, but this is what I've noticed. It's my local council, and it's been quite taken issue by the parents who have seen the post that the council made on this. So I'll just explain it to you in a minute. So penalty notices will be issued for term time leave. Penalty notice fines will be issued for term time leave of 5 or more consecutive days. 10 sessions of an authorised absence in a 10-week period will result in a penalty notice being considered or issued when a pupil has had 10 sessions of an authorised absence in a 10-week period. And what it means by week is a school week, so not 7 days, 5 days. So, per parent / per child. Penalty notice fines will continue to be issued per parent per child. For example, 3 siblings absent for term time leave would result in a parent receiving 3 separate fines. 3 separate fines. Here's the issue. You are fining people for wanting an affordable holiday. And here's why and I'll explain why parents take their time take their kids out on holiday in term time, because the holidays in the summertime are not bloody affordable. If you want to take your family on holiday in summer, in the holidays, they're heavily, massively inflated by the companies. They're so massively inflated that, you may as well go camping, right? That's the only option for some people is to, and that some people that is a holiday, for other people it isn't. And you've got to understand that companies are actively causing this issue. They are fleecing people. And even if they do, if the parents do get free fines for free children out of school, for instance, like the example showed, it would still be cheaper than to pay for the holiday and the fines than to pay for a holiday in peak holiday time. And that is the issue. Why are companies allowed to fleece people in the way that they do? It's completely and utterly disgusting, and it's absolutely deplorable. How can we go on with a situation like this? Kids are missing out on family time, on amazing holidays because companies are wanting to fleece them. It's not necessary. They're not. These companies aren't struggling. They never will struggle. Everyone wants to go on holiday, so you know there needs to be something done about holiday companies if we're gonna start finding parents more and more and more. It's one of the things. Right. So the next thing they talk about is the first offence. So first time penalty notice is issued for a term time holiday or irregular school absence. The penalty notice will be charged at £160 per parent per child, right, per child, if paid within 28 days, reducing to £80 if paid within 21 days. So if you pay up quicker, you get less. The second offence within 3 years of the first offence. So they're keeping a record on you, right? They're keeping a record of when you take your children on holiday. If you do that within 3 years, where it is deemed appropriate to issue a second penalty notice the same time for each pupil. Within 3 years of the first notice, the second penalty notice will be charged at £160 if paid within 28 days. No reduced fee for paying it early. So there's no reduced fee for paying that one early. And it says an unpaid penalty notice after 28 days may result in parental prosecution. Parental prosecution. Our court systems are backed up already. Our court systems in this country are underfunded. They are backed up. We have a backlog that is longer than anything that anyone will ever know. People are waiting about 3 years to get their cases through court. This is just absolutely unnecessary, right? I'd understand if the kid was never at school, if the kid, had an attendance about 50%. Taking your kid on a couple of holidays in a couple of years is not really going to damage them enough, right? And equally, if you do decide to take your kid on holiday during term time, because you've got no option apart from to not have a holiday because you can't afford it, then obviously you take the responsibility to ensure that they've caught up on all the work, that they're going to spend time ensuring that they're not missing out. And that's what a good parent will do. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that every parent would do that, but obviously, most parents would want their kid not to fall behind. So, now it talks about a third offence. Within 3 years of the first offence, on the third time that an offence is committed for either term time, holiday, and/or irregular attendance, a penalty notice will not be issued. The case may proceed straight to parental prosecution under the single justice procedure. If found guilty, offence fails to send a child to school, the magistrates will impose a fine up to £1,000. Up to £1,000. So basically, they have created a system to essentially say, you can't take your kids on holiday. We'll deny your kids the right to an affordable holiday. Come on, let's just have a little bit of sympathy for parents. I think it's important, especially the cost of living crisis. These new frameworks, and this idea that after if you do 3 offences in 3 years, 3 offences in 3 years. 3 offences. What if you want to go on a family holiday every year? It just removes that option. It's completely and utterly disgraceful that we are denying kids the right to a decent holiday at a fair price where they don't have to give up household essentials to pay top whack for a holiday. Come on. Come on. If this is the basics now that we can't even get right in this country, someone needs to hold these big big airline companies, these big holiday companies to account, because it's getting to the point now where it's absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. You should be able to take your child on holiday at any time of year and pay a fair price and not be fleeced. And not have to give up, right, on things to save up for holiday because of the price is so inflated. Come on, there is a recommended price for that holiday. There will be a recommended price for the cost of the accommodation, the cost of food, the cost of all the upkeep and everything, right? It does not require the amount of money that they're inflating it by every time it comes to holiday season, right? If you believe in education is so important, then people would not be monopolizing on the holiday business for it. You know, all the companies are the same. They're acting as a monopoly on this. They are treating education as a cash cow. It isn't a cash cow for you to just rob people when it comes to school holiday time. Come on, right? It's about time someone spoke out and said to these big travel brands, enough is enough. Enough is enough now. Come on. So, of course, I'm going to go for another break now. After this, I'm going to talk about the crisis in the housing and rental market. So, I hope you will join me for that. Of course, we want to hear from you, and I will explain when I come back just exactly how you can get in touch with us, like Dee did on X when I read out a comment about the asylum seeker in Rwanda story. So all that is coming up next. Just go for a short break now. Please do stay with us because we would love to hear your opinions. Back in a moment. Hello and welcome back to Brit Vision, a fresh face in the media. So, as I said earlier, we are going to be talking about next the crisis in the rentals and housing market, which has been a massive issue over the last few years, or maybe even decades. It's been quite an issue. But first, if you want to get in touch with us, we want to hear from you. So get in touch, have your opinions heard. There's Instagram there, Brit Vision Media, Twitter and X, all the politics, and YouTube in the live stream chat. I can look and I can see everything. Everything. So please, 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 right, make your opinions known because we would love to hear them. It would be amazing. So thank you. Now, back onto the topic of discussion, which is this: the crisis in housing and rental market. So, actually, last night on the new revamped talk, Petra Hoskin was talking about the rental crisis, and actually how renters, how landlords are acting in such a terrible and disgusting way towards people who are renting. Charged extortionate prices, kicking people out in order to then put their rent up, knowing full well that they can't do it legally with that person inside within the contract. So then they kick them out and then they get someone else new who's paying more. Now, this is a big issue. How are young people supposed to be inspired, bring up families? We know the birth rate is lowering in this country a lot. How are young people supposed to start families if they cannot have a home where they know that it's going to be permanent, it's going to be there every single day, they're going to have the keys to it, and they know that they can go home and be safe there, right? The issue is you've got rental properties at the moment which are on the market, which are substandard. They are not safe. They are poorly maintained. There's mold, damp. Even a student accommodation. Student accommodation is known notoriously for being moldy, damp, disgusting. Right? We need to do better in this country. How are we supposed to inspire young people if we can't even treat them to the basic necessities of a home, of a safe, dry, nice place to live? Right? And I'm not saying give them all massive 3-story houses. I'm not saying give everybody a mansion. I'm saying just give them a basic property. A basic property that they can rent fairly permanently or own, which is actually a nice place to live. Where they want to start families, where they want to, bring up the next generation. We have to start and build more homes. That's one issue. We have to get control of legal migration. Legal migration is a massive issue as well as illegal migration. You have to get control of them. The housing prices are going to go up because you've got more and more people coming in the country. You have less and less housing stock. So it's going to be really, the house price is going to keep going up. If we don't build more houses or get control of this migration, house prices are going to keep going up, I'm afraid. But it's obviously really sad that people can't have a home where they can go home to every night, where there's so much uncertainty. And obviously, we want to change that. We need to change it as a society. We obviously do need to change it a lot as a society. But you've got so many issues. NIMBYs. I don't like NIMBYs. Not in my backyarders, as they're known. And they just complain about every housing development. But on the other hand, these people are saying, "Oh, we need to let everybody in. We need to be more compassionate. Let's give these asylum seekers the benefit of the doubt that they actually are asylum seekers." But they don't want to help solve the issues that are affecting everybody in this country, like the flaming housing crisis. Their attitudes to say let's do nothing is going to help fuel your housing crisis. We want young people to be able to own homes. We want young people to be able to go, yes, this is my home. I actually own it. I've worked hard, but people are just becoming so disenfranchised with this nation because they can't have basic things like their own property. And what do you expect? What happens then? A lack of national pride, and then it just all collapses in, and that's what's happening in this country at the moment. We need to build more houses. We need to have better properties for renters. We can't have people living in squalor. We can't have people living in mouldy homes. There was a kid in Oldham that died due to the fact of a mouldy home. It's all very much a sad and sorry situation. Um, it's important. Now, obviously, if you do have any views on this, get them in, please, because I'm very interested to hear them. Please, 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 we will not. This won't be the only time we talk about it. So please get your views in. I will absolutely try and talk about everybody's views. Let me just check on Twitter and Instagram, see if we have any more views coming in from our lovely audience members. Yes, we do. English Patriot says we absolutely do need to get in control of migration. Where are we? Oh, I've lost it. 1 minute. There we go. We do absolutely need to get in control of illegal migration because it is helping to fuel the housing crisis. Agreeing with me. Thank you very much. It's nice to know some other people agree. If you have more and more people coming into the country, and more people being born, correct, but you're not building enough houses to accommodate that percentage increase, then there's obviously going to be a price rise. Bang on there, English Patriot. English Patriot is definitely on the money there. If you have more and more people coming and you don't build, if you've got 20% more people coming and you don't build 20% more houses, then you're not be able to accommodate those people. Therefore, prices rise because there's more demand. Now, it was nice to have a couple of views in today. We would love to hear more. Of course we would. But we are a new channel, I understand that. Thank you to English Patriot and Dee, who brought your views to the table today. It was lovely to read them out and read what you think. They will both actually agree with me today, but I'm sure there'll be, as our audience grows, there will be some difference of opinion, which I love anyway. We love to have a debate on this channel. But I want to say that is the end of the Tonight Show. I want to really thank everybody who has watched, joined, liked. So we've had some likes on this stream. Thank you very much. And of course, a special thank you to the lovely viewers who sent their views in to me. That is one of the best parts, I think, about this. I can read your views. I can get them straight to my phone, to my computer. It's amazing, and thank you. And we might not always agree. I might have a day where I might not agree with any of you, but today we did all agree. The viewers that sent messages in, so thank you so much. And all I have to say is have a lovely rest of Wednesday night. Please all stay safe, and I will see you on Friday morning. Friday morning, 9 to 11. We have. Let me just find it. We have on Friday morning live, 9 to 11. Big topics, big debates, and your views are welcome. I will just get it up on the screen now for you. Who'd have thought it, eh? Who'd have thought it? Right, so here we are. Friday morning live, 9 to 11. I've put a post out on X. I've also put a post out on Instagram to tell you. By the way, just a reminder of how you can get in touch before I go. I really want to thank everybody for watching the stream. It's vitally important that you send your views in, because I love to hear from you all. You're all brilliant. Thank you very much. I think all that's left to say is thanks for watching. I'm gonna leave you with just the headlines for a couple of minutes, so you can just catch up on the day's headlines. In fact, we'll talk through the headlines. Actually, we'll just talk through them. So we'll just hide that a second. Right. So we'll just pause it on this one. So schoolboy who was victim of sword attack remembered. So 14-year-old Daniel Ajori, killed in sword attack, was remembered as having a positive nature and gentle character. Now, this is an important point when it comes to knife crime, because obviously of the people affected by it. It's very sad. It's an unfortunate situation. The next headline of the day, which I picked out when I did this video, was prostate cancer hope. New methods of prostate cancer screening set to be trialled in the UK that could save thousands of lives. That is a positive, new, good thing coming out today. That is good news. That is very, very good news. I've just realised my face has disappeared. There we go. So yeah, it's very positive news. It's very, very good news indeed. Next up on the headlines is Kemi's call. Kemi Badnock has called on the public to show how public bodies use incorrect guidance on single-sex spaces. Now, this is important, I think. You know, we've got to call these things out. Let's not be scared. And of course, let's not be scared about these things. Let's be, let's be good about these things, and call them out when we need to call them out. And finally, the last headline, which I spoke about earlier, failed asylum seeker given £3,000 to go to Rwanda. I've explained this before. I don't think I need to go into this anymore, but who knows why? What the purpose of it is, I don't. I think it's just a bit of a sort of a facade to go, oh look, we're doing something about it. But I'll leave that up to you to make your own view about. Right, all that's left for me to say is thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you joining me. I appreciate your comments and views. I realise I'm banging on a bit now because I've already said this, but I will leave you with the headlines. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on Friday morning for Friday Morning Live, 9 to 11. Okay? It's not a breakfast show. It's not a breakfast show. It's a mid-morning show. Obviously, I'm not the best at getting up on the morning, so that's why it's a mid-morning show, not a breakfast show. But I will be in training to try and do a breakfast show. So stick around for when that happens. But all I have to say is thank you, and thanks for joining me, and good night. Thank you.